The Formula One circuit's getting ready for a race weekend in France after a free weekend. Red Bull and Ferrari are the favourites again, but can any other team surprise? Who knows, could there be a chance this weekend? But anyway, in 1971 a Grand Prix was held at Paul Ricard for the first time, alternating between race weekends at the Circuit de Charade and the Circuit de Dijon-Peyronnes. The British Jackie Stewart was the first driver to take victory. After Alain Prost's victory, the motorsport class did not return for many years, however. That changed in 2018 when F1 decided to put France back on the calendar. In both 2018 and 19, Lewis Hamilton took the victory, with no GP able to take place due the following year due to the coronavirus, of course. Last season, Max Verstappen drew the longest straw and picked up the victory in a thrilling win. But anyway, the most distinctive feature of the circuit is the 1.8km long straight. In addition, the black and blue runoff areas are well known to the general public. The circuit is fairly flat, clearly different from most other F1 tracks. F1 is not expected to return to France next season. The organisation reportedly prefers other countries from 2023 onwards and is unable to add an extra circuit due to pressure on the calendar. However, no official confirmation has been received yet. Whilst not official, it is likely that this will be the last French Grand Prix, at least for a while. While Verstappen, anyway, was in the long-term victor in the series this season, Ferrari has struck back in recent races at Silverstone in Austria with victories for Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc respectively. The Italian team managed to further reduce the gap in the championship, and Matteo Binotto's team have also proved in Austria that they have their act together again. Although the reliability car still leaves something to be desired, it even means that Sainz will probably have to start from the back of the grid in France. The difference between Verstappen and Leclerc may still be 38 points despite the win for the Monegasque, but Red Bull will realise that it should have been closer really without the issues. Therefore, it's important to increase the gap further just before the summer break. The extreme heat in Europe will also be felt in France this weekend, reports weather.com. Temperatures are not expected to drop below 30 degrees, so spectators and drivers must deal with scorching weather. Verstappen's victory last season will give the Dutchman the necessary confidence for this weekend. The reigning world champion simply knows what he can do on the track, although he will also realise he has a very different car to last year. At Ferrari, confidence will be high after 2 consecutive wins. The Italians also know that they need to carry the gap in the World Championship further just because summer break is around the corner, so they can try and attack once it ends from Spa at the end of August. It is therefore expected that Ferrari and Red Bull will jointly decide which team takes victory in France. At the same time, they will be keeping a close eye on Mercedes, which has had good form in recent weeks and is expected to be strong in Paul Ricard. Before I move on to other stuff, just quickly the timetable for this weekend. Free practice 1 on a Friday, 1 till 2, and then 4 till 5 for second practice. And then basically it's an hour earlier for free practice 3 and qualifying on the Saturday, and the race lights out at 2 p.m. UK time. There was a few interesting stories in and around the paddock as we build up to the race weekend. Sebastian Vettel has announced his intention to continue with Aston Martin this week into next year. Personally, a move I didn't see coming a few months ago, but he hasn't had an upturn in form, Vettel, to be fair to him, and is definitely deserving of a place next season. In other news, just some minor upgrades that have been revealed, or major in Mercedes. He seems like they're going to be bringing plenty of upgrades to try and really close the gap in the next few races. Ferrari arrived with also some minor upgrades. So looking like an interesting race weekend in terms of practices, which, speaking of so, Nick de Vries will replace Lewis Hamilton as part of the mandatory driver running this weekend. In FP1, Charles Leclerc was fastest from Max Verstappen. He was right behind. Kind of like your usual FP1 session, really. Not a whole lot you can read into it. But you could tell it was quite close between the Ferrari and the Red Bull. The main talking point of the session was probably Nick de Vries standing in for 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes, and he did a solid job. Kind of messed up his last lap, which set him back a bit, but still in 9th place, not too far off Russell. Not a first outing in the Mercedes for de Vries. In second practice, it was much more dominated by the red team. Carlos Sainz leading Charles Leclerc by a tenth, and then Max Verstappen 5.5 tenths back. Ferrari's pace, at least in qualifying, looking pretty ominous this weekend. The race ones were slightly closer, which is good to see because we want a competitive weekend. Mercedes, though, down in 4th and 5th and still quite a chunk off them. And maybe not quite the Friday they hope, with some people expecting them to be contending. It looks like Ferrari could be set for a very good weekend here. And before I go, let me run you through my predictions for this weekend. On pole, I'm going to say Charles Leclerc. I mean, the Ferrari, we've seen it many times this season. It's a bit of a rocking qualifying. And I think there will be quite an evenly matched circuit between maybe in the top 3 teams this weekend. So I'm going to say Leclerc on pole. Just because he's so mighty on the one lap. Being a race with the hot conditions, I'm going to say it's going to be a horrific day for Ferrari, kind of Spain Baku-like. And Leclerc will retire from the lead or second, gifting the win to Verstappen. In second, I'm going to say with Sainz starting at the back and Perez maybe having a bit of an off weekend, and Mercedes being significantly closer like they expect it to be this weekend, I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton comes home for a season best second place, with Perez just nipping Russell to the line for the final podium spot. Wouldn't that be great? A 3-team battle for the podium, even if we do have Ferrari slightly imploding, with Sainz starting at the back, it seems. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and lots of comments down below. Follow and subscribe me for daily F1 news and subscribe to my channel. Subscribe, and I'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.